This is Tackle Talk Live, an inside scoop on how, when, and where to catch bass, with a primary focus on Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Interviews with anglers who are consistent winners on the tournament trail. Your hosts, Camus Boats Pro staffer Steve Graff and Gill Fishing accounts manager Kevin Jean. Two anglers who understand bass fishing with tournament success on all levels. Anglers willing to share their knowledge to help you become a better fisherman. So sit up and pay close attention as they give detailed tournament information and results. Here are the hosts of Tackle Talk Live, Steve Graff and Kevin Jean.
Welcome to another edition of Tackle Talk Live. I'm Dial Pro staffer Steve Graff, along with Gill Fishing accounts manager Mr. Kevin Jean. Kevin, today we're going to wrap up Bass Champs on Sam Rayburn, kind of let everybody know what happened there. I'm sure for one thing that did happen, they all froze their tail off. Yeah. I'm sure it was freezing cold. But we got plenty of things to talk about today. And when we get through with Rayburn today, we're fixing to jump over to Toledo Bend. We're fixing to find out what's going on over there, and we've got a great interview set up for you guys today. Mr. Colby Miller is going to come on today, and he's going to talk about, he is the Invitational Pro as well as a Toledo Bend guide. So we're going to hear kind of what's going on with Toledo Bend right now, and we're going to get his perspective, Kevin, as to what it's going to be like during the tournament next week.
Yeah, and you know, Colby and Colby fishes with Cole Moore, and they won the Game Changer Outdoors tournament on Toledo Bend last weekend, a little over 22 pounds. I know he's been guiding out there a little bit. He's getting ready for his invitational, the MLF Invitational tournament on Sam Rayburn, so he's not allowed to be over on Sam Rayburn right now. But he's been on Toledo Bend. He's going to update us there on what's going on Toledo Bend. We're going to talk about all the rain we got coming. The Major League Fishing Bass Pro Tour starts next week on Toledo Bend. So we're going to kind of give everybody an update on that, kind of what to think, what we got coming down the pipe with it. And but you know, Steve, good weekend for Sam Rayburn. I mean, over 26 pounds, win Bass Champs, 24 pounds with second place, and man, that had to have been brutal conditions.
Yeah.
Then you turn around, had the Rattle Trap tournament on Sunday. It took 19 pounds to win it. Again, had to have been brutal conditions. So hats off to everybody that did well over there this past weekend.
Well, they had 360 participants in the Bass Champs, 180 teams, and a good turnout for those conditions. I think that's a pretty good turnout. I don't think Chad Potts probably could have asked for anything more with the conditions the way they were.
No, absolutely.
And again, January is just one of those months. A lot of guys have trouble kind of getting going. Yeah. I don't know, but anyway, we'll talk more about that later on as we get into the season. Should they continue to start in January? The problem, of course, is boat ramps and getting lakes.
Well, the thing with that, Steve, is he has to start down here in January because the north and everything up there's no way they can start around Dallas or anything at this time of the year. So the BFL is the same way. Everybody has to start in January because they go everywhere else, February, March, because they can't get there in January. It's cold and it's miserable here, but it's when they have the best turnout. I mean, they do. I mean, from year in, year out, January, everybody's getting out of the woods, everybody's ready to be on the water. But but for the conditions, great turnout this past weekend, no doubt.
Yeah, we've got that to cover. We've got some lake reports coming up. And we've also got a little product I'm going to share with you this week. It's not a fishing product. It's part of fishing, but it's not something you would cast or throw or use for bait, something else you can use. And we'll talk about that a little bit later on. So we're going to take a real quick break. And you're watching Tackle Talk Live. We'll have Colby Miller when we come back. Stay tuned. You're watching Tackle Talk Live.
A good marine dealer is hard to find, but a great dealer is even harder. But in Iowa, Louisiana, there's a marine dealer that falls into the great category. Power Implements Marine, South Louisiana's go-to dealer for all things related to the boating industry. A Minn Kota, Garmin, and Mercury dealer, guaranteeing you first-rate service in both sales and repair. A great selection of new and used boats to choose from, including Skeeter, G3, Ranger, Camus, and Go Devil. A knowledgeable staff that will treat you like family and are always willing to go the extra mile to ensure you walk out a happy customer. To see everything they have to offer, go to powerimplements.com or stop by 606 East Miller Street in Iowa, Louisiana. Plus, mention Tackle Talk Live and save $500 off a new or pre-owned boat or $50 off your first service ticket. Toledo Health is a full-service primary and acute care clinic. Nurse practitioners Jarrett Rule and Melissa Vines bring quality health care that's needed and convenient to the area. Nothing is worse than being sick on your family or fishing getaway. Whether it's a stomach virus or a hook in the hand, Toledo Healthcare will try and meet all your health care needs. Appointments available and walk-ins are always welcome. So the next time you're feeling down at Toledo Bend, stop by Toledo Healthcare, located on Highway 6 just south of Toledo Town, or call 318-508-5323. Very few stores are a complete one-stop shop, but Cypress Knee Outdoors is such a place. A store within a store. Cypress Knee is located inside 3J's four-way. Whether you need gas, food, drinks, or bait and tackle, they have it. Cypress Knee Outdoors carries top-name fishing brands like Strike King, Sandtone, Spro, and V&M. Crappie jigs from Bobby Garland. Need hunting gear? They have it. Ammunition from rifle to shotgun shells. Deer scents from Buck Wild and Doe and Heat. Deer stands from Titan and feeders from T-Hanger. Cypress Knee has it all. Located off I-49, exit 127, just south of Natchitoches, Louisiana. So stop by Cypress Knee Outdoors and let John Abram and his staff show you everything they have to offer. Or give them a call at 318-238-HUNT. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
You're watching Tackle Talk Live. This segment presented by Toledo Health. 3J's four-way, home of Cypress Knee Outdoors. Right there, exit 127 off I-49, just south of Natchitoches. Check it out. And Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. And guys, if you mention Tackle Talk Live, you'll get either $500 off the purchase of a new or used boat, or you can apply a $50 discount to your first service ticket. Either way, it's money saved for you. And hey, we can't say thank you enough to Power Implements Marine for doing that great promotion through our program. And looking forward to seeing how many of you guys go in there. Again, mention Tackle Talk Live. It's all you got to do to get that kind of discount. All right, on the Tackle Talk hotline, again, we've got Colby Miller, Toledo Bend guide. He's going to be giving us a good breakdown over there at Toledo Bend. And I guess the first question I've got for you, Colby, how is Toledo Bend fishing right now?
Before the rain.
Man,
Before the rain.
Before the rain. The water temp's definitely been having things a little off, in my opinion. The bite's been fantastic for the past month and a half, catching tons of fish, kept quite a few really good fish each day, you know. But the last few days I've been on the water, the bite's been kind of off. I don't know if the low water temps got them jacked up or what. Water temp's been like a main lake for me. It was main lake for me. It was like 46, 47 on my Garmin. And then like up in some of the creeks has been anywhere from 42 to 44, you know. Mm-hmm. Some creeks are a little colder than others.
Now, is that mid lake, south end, north end, or?
That's mid lake. I don't tend to venture off too far north or too far south.
Yeah.
So, Colby, just kind of want to jump into last weekend here just a little bit. You and Cole Moore won the Game Changer Outdoors tournament with a little over 22 pounds. Kind of take me through that day a little bit, kind of how that went down. Did you catch a lot of fish? Did you catch the right size? Was you just looking for the right size? You kind of take us through that day.
Man, to be honest, first bite of the morning was our biggest one, 9-pounder. And then from then on, we started catching them fairly quick, you know. Size was kind of an issue for us up until, say, 10 or 11 o'clock. Caught the big one at like 8 o'clock that morning, first thing. And kind of got things rolling, you know. Thought we were around some good quality fish, but seemed like every one we looked at on live scope or graphed over, they just didn't want to fire for us. All the ones that we caught seemed every time we set the hook, it was a little one.
So we're talking mainly deep fish here?
Yeah. What level of the water column are we in?
Yeah, some deep fish, sitting on the bottom that we had graphed, and anywhere from say 17 foot to 20 foot.
Yeah.
And then mostly live scoping over fairly deep water, 25, 30 foot of water, sometimes 40 if need be, mainly focusing just around bait and stuff.
And that brings my next question. Where are you finding the majority of the bait fish right now, Colby? Are they all out deep in 30 foot or less, 30 foot or more?
Man, really and truly, there's some shallow, there's some deep. The last day I was on the water, I fished out pretty much over the top of the river, in 70, 80, 90 foot of water, and was catching some way out in the middle of the lake over the river. The size was hard to come by, but seeing fish way out deep, the bait seemed to stay anywhere from 30 to 40 foot down around the river. Then once you get up in the creeks, it seems to want to rise a little bit and stays around, seems like around 20 foot. But then you can go up to the bank and 10 foot or less and find bait, so it's been kind of weird lately, in my opinion.
Now on these river fish, are you using jig and spoon? What's the big primary bait for the deep fish?
Yeah, jig and spoon type deals, ice jig, stuff like that. Something that it gets way down deep really quick, a 3/4 ounce or a 1 ounce bait gets down there quick and gets to them.
Colby, how's the grass on the south end of the lake? Is it? I mean, of course it's good, but is there any good bites coming from the grass yet? Rattle trap, jerk bait, so on and so forth through that grass.
So, speaking for myself, I have not fished in the grass. I'm mainly just been focusing deeper water.
Yeah.
But I have heard a couple reports of people catching very, very nice fish in the grass, chatterbait, rattle trap, jerk bait.
And I have as well. That's why I was asking that question. I've heard a couple guys tell me, they've caught some good bags in practice, just going out fishing. There hasn't been any real tournaments other than the Game Changer a couple weekends ago or last weekend. But I have heard reports of some good bags coming out of the grass.
Yeah, I've actually heard a couple different people say that they've had 20-pound bags throwing a chatterbait in the grass all day long.
Now, Colby, is there some grass up around the 12-15 area? Is that about as far north as you're going to find grass, or?
Man, really, to be honest, I don't hardly fish above the bridge very much.
Yeah.
I've heard a few people saying that Blue Lake has a ton of grass again this year.
It does.
But speaking for myself, I have no idea.
Steve, he don't go above the bridge. I promise.
I've kind of picked up on that.
No, he don't go above the bridge.
I try not to, at least.
His boat does a circle if he goes under the bridge, just automatically.
That's correct. If it goes above the bridge, it's just to run across the lake to the Texas side.
Yeah, or you're going out to San Miguel for the BFL. That's the only reason his boat goes up.
That's right.
Colby, what about all this rain we got coming in this week? How much is that influx of, if we get the rain they're talking about 5 to 6 inches, that's going to bring a lot of fresh water into Toledo Bend.
And Steve, going off of exactly what you're saying, is how's that going? So we have the Bass Pro Tour coming here next week, Colby, and as Steve alluded to, they're saying 5 to 8 inches over the next 3 to 4 days on Toledo Bend. What's that going to do to the fish with the water temperature already being mid-40s? You said some goes low 40s, but again, 5 to 8 inches of rain coming. What's this going to do to these BPT guys? Some of the best fishermen in the world, but man, you talk about throw a curveball.
Yeah, it's definitely going to throw a curveball for sure. As bad as I hate to say it, I think it could actually make some fish push shallow, like a big wave. Not as far as like go to spawn, but as far as like warm water coming in, it could warm the water up shallow and potentially make a big push of fish pull up in the grass or down the bank,
Because it's going to be a warmer rain with that 60-degree temperature, and you're right, that's going to warm the water column back up, and that muddy water tends to warm up quicker anyway, especially once that sun hits it.
Yeah, and I think the sun's supposed to shine a pretty good bit towards the end of the week. So
Yeah.
So that's where I was going with it. I think it's going to make the shallow grass fish fire. I think.
I really do too. I
Yeah.
mean, I don't know so much about the Bass Pro Tour guys for every fish counts being able, and just this is my opinion. I think the shallow guys fishing grass will be able to compete and make the
They won't
knockout
win it
round.
though.
I don't see a win coming out of the
Yeah.
grass. I could see
No.
possibly 9th or 10th place going into the final day, or qualifying for the final day. But I don't think you could see a top 5 guy out of the grass. I'm not saying it's not possible, because with the weather conditions, it's very possible.
Yeah.
Anything's possible. But
Well, and Cody, this being every fish counts kind of deal. What was it? I think 3 years ago when Cody Huff came down here to Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. Well, he won back to back on Toledo Bend. He was out in the river channel, like you were talking about a while ago, targeting fish in 45 foot of water with a spoon. Can a guy do that in that event and possibly just keep catching them and get his weight up?
man, I really think guys that do stuff like that, scoping around bait balls and stuff like that, I really think, in my opinion, just seeing fish, seeing the size of the fish, they're all healthy, they're all full of fat, full of bait, they're all eating good. You don't really see many like 1.5 pounders out there scoping. It seems that when you catch one, it's going to weigh 2.25 to 2 3/4 or even bigger, up to 5-6 pounds. I've caught a couple that big, just out in the middle of nowhere around balls of bait fish.
Yeah.
Okay, so does this play though? And you said it. You don't catch a whole bunch of 1.5 pound, 2 pounders. Does the person? I mean, would a person have an opportunity to win this thing running about 8 or 9 different points that's just loaded with those 1.5 pounders to 2 pounders?
So it all depends, and it all depends on what their not cut weight.
It's
Their
a pound,
designated
I
weight
think.
is it's 2 pounds.
No, I don't know.
It can change from event
Let me
to
text
event.
Justin. Let me text Cooper here and find out.
Last time I talked to him, he said he still didn't know.
Okay.
Yeah. So, but he was thinking somewhere around 110 or 112.
Okay, let's say it's 110. Give me your opinion.
I think personally, if say you have 10 schools and they're really, really close together, I mean, not stretching yourself, 10 miles apart per spot, because that's going to eat up a lot of your time. But I think a guy can compete if all this water doesn't muddy up certain areas of the lake and make those fish scatter out.
Yeah.
Yes, I think a guy can 100% compete, because Toledo Bend's Toledo Bend. If you find a school of 40, there's going to be some spotted bass mixed in, or spotted bass. There's going to be some black bass, and you're going to eventually mess up and catch a 4, 5, 6 pounder out of a school like that. And if you have 10 schools that you can run and just keep hitting them, catching, say it's a 40 fish school, if you're lucky enough to catch 10 or 12 out of each school, and if they're all scorables, I think a guy can definitely compete and have a shot.
I think they're going to have to mix that in. I think if they got 1 or 2 points, they know what time it's firing, whether it be at daylight or so on and so forth. If he runs there and catches, let's just say 20, and gets up there to 40, 30, 35 to 40 pounds like that, and then he goes running some bait fish or running some different things. I think that part of it will have to be mixed in some way, somehow.
I do agree with that.
All right, Colby, let's raise the storage locker on our bass boat. You got 3 baits you want to tie on for next week. Give us the 3 baits and we're not talking right now. We're talking about next week with
talking about for the BPT guys, for every fish?
For the BPT guys. What would be the top 3 baits you think will probably be used most effectively?
I think a lot of guys will have a Cordell spoon, some sort of jigging spoon. I think a lot of guys will be throwing some sort of Demiki rig type style bait. A few guys, Cody Huff being one of them, probably Ozark guy. The ice jig is very, a lot of guys throw that around the Ozarks. And then some sort of little small swim bait, shad imitator, 3-inch, 2.8, 3-inch, 3.3, something like that. And then even a jerk bait. Some of the fish are sitting up high in the water column that when you're scoping, that you don't want to get a heavy bait and just burn it past them real quick. You want to just ease something over their head, and something like a jerk bait can just sit over them and let them look at it and get a good look at it.
Yeah.
They'll ease up there and eat it sometimes.
All right. Kevin, you got anything else?
Nothing else I can think of pops off the top of my head. I know y'all did well. You and Cole did well. What y'all fish at Rayburn? Y'all did pretty decent over there, didn't you? Y'all fished something.
I didn't fish with Cole.
Weekend before last, you didn't? I know he's fishing champs with his dad. I thought you fished something with him over there. Well, we can't talk Rayburn. You're off limits. And so you'll be on Rayburn. When again is the dates for the Rayburn MLF Invitationals?
February 9th through the 11th. I think we start practice like the 5th.
Yeah, gotcha.
So really looking forward to that, Ready to get the year started off. But.
And guide service, how can they get a hold of you for guide service for Toledo Bend?
Look us up on Facebook, CM2 Guide Service. Our phone number is on there, or shoot us a message. We'd love to take you on the water.
Sounds good. Colby, I appreciate it, man. Appreciate you taking the time for us. Tell your pops happy birthday, and we'll holler at you later.
Thank you.
Sounds good, fellas. Appreciate
you, Colby. Appreciate you coming on, man. All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we'll take a look at this weekend's upcoming tournaments for the rest of the month, basically, and then we've got lake level reports for both Toledo Bend and Sam Rayburn. And so stay tuned. You're watching Tackle Talk Live. We'll be right back.
Pride Rods, custom-built fishing rods made to handle any and all techniques. Fishing rods designed for sensitivity and made to last in Montgomery, Texas. Built by Billy Kistler with the finest Gary Loomis North Fork composite blanks available. They offer a complete line of spinning and casting rods for both fresh and salt water. Pride Rods do more than pass the eye test. They excel in performance as well. Ask your local tackle dealer if they carry Pride Rods and pick one up to try it for yourself. Take pride in your fishing by using Pride Rods. To learn more, go to priderods.com or call 832-418-6040. The Lakes Insurance Agency is an independent insurance agency taking care of Texans' insurance needs for over 25 years, offering auto, homeowners, boat, RV, life, health, and commercial insurance. Owner Clark Moore is a local fishing guide and tournament angler who understands your insurance needs and wants to be your go-to guide for all your insurance needs. For a free quote, give him a call and see why so many Texans trust the Lake Insurance Agency. 2 locations to serve you in both Nacogdoches and Broadus, Texas. Or give him a call at 936-205-4467. The next time you're headed for Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn, stop by Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle. They have an awesome supply of everything you'll need to catch the big ones. Whether your trip calls for bass fishing, white perch tackle, catfish bait, or the ultimate fighting shiners, Keith's Tackle has you covered. Keith and former Elite Series pro Ben Matsubu also have the latest information on what, how, and where you need to be fishing on Sam Rayburn or the Bend. So for all your tackle needs, check out Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, located just off Highway 21 on the Texas side of Toledo Bend, or call 409-625-0181. You're watching Tackle Talk Live, a show dedicated to making you a better angler. Now back to the guys with all the inside scoop, Kevin Jean and Steve Graff.
Welcome back to our final segment here on Tackle Talk Live. This segment is presented by Pride Rods, Keith's Toledo Bend Tackle, the Lakes Insurance of Nacogdoches, 2 locations, one in Broadus, Texas, and the other one right there in the heart of Nacogdoches, as well as Power Implements Marine, located in Iowa, Louisiana. Once again, mention you heard on Tackle Talk Live, possibly get $500 off a new or used boat, or you can take $50 off your first service ticket. Either way, it's a great savings for you, the angler. And so if you're looking to get your boat service, now's the time to do it. Probably wait a little late, but it's never too late. Always go there. Check it out. Power Implements Marine in Iowa, Louisiana. All right, Kev.
Steve, good interview from Colby.
Yeah, did a good job.
So here's what I'm gonna say on that. I think this is going to be the first year that when I say local, I meant true locals that know Toledo Bend. It will be in their favor because so much will change from practice to the time they start fishing.
Right.
Justin Cooper, Nick LeBrun, trying to think of the current BPT guys off the top of my head. Faircloth. Um, just kind of that's just again off the top of my head. I'm trying to go through, but those guys, I think they're going to be at a very big advantage here because the water's going to be rising. It's going to be muddy in some places when they start practice, but when it's go time, I don't think it's going to be. It's going to start cleaning up, especially down there around the grass. But I think guys like Justin that know those deeper schools, how they're going to set up when they get when it gets warmer. Because I'm telling you, that will play a part in this. Some way, somehow, it'll be somebody offshore catching 20 to 30. It just as fast as he can throw in there. Might not last very long. They might be 1.5 pounds, 2 pounds, but I think that's going to play at some point.
And I think a guy like Cody Huff, can he duplicate what he did here before on Toledo Bend? That's going to be another challenge for him. But I think the weather and the water is right for him to repeat doing the same method and technique as Colby alluded to.
Could be if you can catch enough of them. That's going to be the only thing is I don't know if you can catch enough of them doing that
to keep up.
To keep up. There's a lot of changing going to happen. If we get this much rain, there's going to be a lot of things happening. Right. That water's going to be warming up. Those fish are going to try to start going a little shallower. There's going to be a lot of things happening between now and then. It's going to be interesting to see how it all plays out.
All right, real quick, let's go over the Bass Champs results. Kevin's going to give you the Rattle Trap results here when I'm through with this. Colby Bryant and Wesley Baxley, one from Conroe, one from Houston. They won this event. 180 teams in it. They had 26.37. Brian Schott and Jim Smith from Longview and Lake Charles, Louisiana. They were second with 24.41. They had a 10.26 kicker. And then Nick Kincaid, TJ Martin were third with 24.14. Clayton Bullware, Chris McCall, great little team there. They were fourth with 23.93. Riley Harris, Luke Potter, they were 23.81 for fifth. Sixth place, Cole Moore, Richard Moore, 22.23. Glenn Webb and Levi Thibodeau, they were seventh with 21.36. Harold Allen, my old stick, and Matt Lucier, they were eighth with 19.85. Todd Castledown, Russell Cecil, another really good team. They were ninth with 19.65. And rounding out the top 10, Will Karstens and Ross Bryant from Alexandria, they had 19.30 for a $1,400 payday. The last check was 20th place was Mike Burns and Rob Burns, 15.89 for $1,400. And so they got the last check at 20th place. So, again, for Chad Potts, I'm sure I'm actually doing an interview with Chad on hooking up, tracking down this Wednesday. Kind of anxious to hear how he felt about the turnout. And I'm sure he was pleased because I know there were a lot of guys that just did not want to get out there in that mess, Kevin.
Heck no.
It's just no. I don't know. 20 years ago, I'd been right out there with them. I'm just not that mad at them anymore.
5 years ago, I would have been.
Yeah, maybe 5 for me too. But
it was, man. It was cold. That wind was blowing. I can only imagine how a cold day. That was a long, cold day on the water.
Oh, I guarantee you. Give us the Rattle Trap tournament.
Yeah, so people fished Saturday, and a lot of them turned around and went right back out there Sunday, and fought the weather again. First place was Terry Helgeson and Jesse Nash. They had 1950 was first place. Again, Rattle Trap Open. Second place was William Crane by himself, had 1734. Third place, Mike Williams and Jack Williams had 1729. Fourth place was Cole Stewart and Tim Stewart, 1717. And fifth place was JJ Metzke and Troy Carroll. They had 1687. I'm going to find the last place check here. Last place check was 12 pounds, 0.60 ounces, Keelan Manuel and Jared Dartez. So that was 12.60 was the last check.
And Kevin, that used to be a tournament. All you threw was a trap, but now they've expanded their line into crankbaits, and as long as it's a Bill Lewis lure, I think it's eligible to be. I think qualifies.
They got the scope stick. They got crankbaits. They got top water, which nobody used this past weekend. But they've got several things. They've really expanded their line. Yeah,
they really have. All right, let's see here. Kevin, go over upcoming events, if you will, real quick. And I will say this about the ABA Solo 150 that was canceled last week. It has been rescheduled for June 14th and 15th. Chris Wayne, I want to make sure I got that in. If you have already entered that event, they're just going to carry your money over to that event in June. And our first event will be the Solo 150. Well, first one will be February 23rd and 24th on Lake of the Pines. So,
yeah, and so this coming weekend starts the Brandon Belt tournaments, January 27th, 28th on Sam Rayburn. Steve, so we talked about the effect that the rain and stuff is going to give to the BP guys on Toledo Bend. Right. It's going to affect those Brandon Belt guys. A lot of those guys just fish bass champs. It's going to be a completely different lake. It's going to be, like you said, it's going to warm up and all that rain coming down. It's going to be a completely different lake this weekend. So, and I'm pretty sure they're off limits Monday, Tuesday, and Wednesday, or just Monday and Tuesday. But they do have an off limits this week. So this weekend, the Brandon Belt over there on Sam Rayburn. BFL number 2 is January 27th as well, this weekend at Lake of the Pines. And then we was talking about a while ago, January 30th through February 4th, the MLF Bass Pro Tour on Toledo Bend. And I'm trying to go through my calendar here, see what we got.
And that'll be going out of Cypress Bend, those of you that
Yes, correct. MLF BPT will go out of Cypress Bend.
While you're looking at more, Kevin, real quick on lake levels, Sam Rayburn is 157.01. Still down 7.39 feet. They've had a 10-day loss of 1.56 inches and a 24-hour loss of 0.24. So they must be running. They must have the dam open, is all I can figure. But this week's next Tuesday's numbers are going to be totally different, I'm sure. And so Toledo Bend is 168.17. It's down 3.83 feet. A 10-day gain of 0.84 inches and a 24-hour loss of 0.48 inches. So, and by the way, I did look up Lake of the Pines. Those of you guys, the BFL guys looking to go to Lake of the Pines, it was only down 8 inches when I looked at the lake reports. And as far as lake level, it gives all the lakes in the state of Texas 8 inches, 8.36, I think is what I saw. I was and Colby, before we came on with us, said he'd been over there. He was a little surprised to hear that number because he felt like it was lower than that. And but again, I'm just going by what the report said. It showed a little over 8 inches low, which isn't bad for this time of year. I mean, considering where everybody else is at.
Right. Steve, one thing announced today, Outlaw Outdoors announced, we talked about the Rattle Trap Tournament. They announced today on their Facebook page, brand new for 2024, hourly big bass format on Toledo Bend, Sunday, March 10th. Seven hourly paybacks. First place on every hour is $1,000, all the way down to sixth place is $300. So on Sunday, it is an hourly big bass format, battle of the brands, Bill Lewis, Yamamoto, Buckeye, Big Bite, Still Shad. We can go down the list of all the GSM products. But that is going to be on Sunday, March 10th. So on Saturday, March 9th, Outlaw Outdoors is putting on the Despino tournament, which is a no electronic. Well, it's not electronic. It's no forward-facing sonar tournament, which we'll talk more about later on when we get closer to that. Right. They're elected to not have forward-facing sonar as an option for that tournament. So I think they're guaranteeing 10 or 20. I forget which one. They're guaranteeing it for that tournament on Saturday, and then you got this hourly payback that Outlaw Outdoors posted today is going to be on Sunday. So big weekend on Toledo Bend that weekend. Again, you can go to the Outlaw Outdoors Facebook page. They posted that today for more information.
Kevin, I got a question for you because I've never fished that series, the Bass Champ series. I saw on Facebook that they had what's called the Practice Big Bass. And
so they just started that this year. So Bass Champs
I thought that was new. Okay.
Yeah, no, well, Bass Champs has never had a practice day. It is off limits.
Right.
But this year, with the new format and the new things Bass Champs is doing, they gave a Friday a practice day, and I don't know a whole lot about it. That was the very first one ever this past weekend. I think it was a 7-pounder that won it. But yeah, and they paid like $1,000.
Yeah. I thought it was a great idea. I really did. I
I
thought, man, that's a good idea right there. Because how many times have you heard, or including us, that you catch the biggest fish you caught for the whole weekend, the final day of practice?
Yeah, I agree.
I think it's a great concept. I think it'll do really well. And you're not wasting your time out there. If you do catch a big one, hey, go weigh that sucker in. So, but anyway, Kevin, anything else? What else you got?
I think that's all I've got for this week, Steve.
All right, real quick, guys. I tell you, I had a product for you this week, and Fish Life. They've been a sponsor of our program for a while. They've got some great product line out there. This is the live well treatment formula that you can use. Very similar to G Juice. In fact, same kind of bottle and everything. Not as blue as theirs. I'm sure there's a lot of food colored in the other one, but great product. I've been using this myself and absolutely love it. Have not losing fish with it. It's just a really good product. They've also got a fish cleaner, a live well cleaner product that I really like, especially in those summer tournaments when you get in that shallow, muddy water and your live well gets a lot of sand or dirt and mud in it from the shallow water stuff, especially if you're circulating. If you don't have it on recirculate and you putting in new fresh water, you get that nasty water in there. That live well treatment that they've got, our live well cleaner formula, works great. It does a wonderful. It'll have your live well looking like brand new again. And so try both those products. And again, it's Fish Care Products. Again, they've been a sponsor of our show for, I guess, 2 years, Kevin. Haven't they? And, so anyway, good stuff. Good stuff. All right. Anything else?
I think that does it for the day.
We can't thank y'all enough for tuning us in. Again, continue to spread the word, and we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for Colby Miller coming on with us today and giving us some really good detail of the upcoming and what to expect for the Bass Pro Tour guys coming up next week at Toledo Bend. Gave some good insight there, and maybe something that'll help you if you're going over and going fishing at Toledo Bend. Thank you for tuning us in today. Please check us out on YouTube, Facebook, Instagram, however way you listen to a podcast. If you'd like to become a member of or a sponsor of our program, all you got to do, send us a message on Facebook. Message us. Kevin will send out a packet to you. If you want to leave your phone number, we'll call you, whatever. We'll hook up with you and make sure you get all the information you need to be a sponsor of Tackle Talk Live. Again, we thank each and every one of our sponsors for all that they do for this program, and we appreciate it. Each of you as a listener, hey, go into those stores and tell them you heard it on Tackle Talk Live and that you're listening, and it'll make them feel better about the money they're spending with Tackle Talk Live.
Steve, huge first 3 weeks for the show. Between Facebook and YouTube alone, not including Shopify, Facebook and YouTube, we're over 13,000 views for the first 3 shows of the year. 3 shows, 13,000 views combined.
And that's you guys. That's the viewers, man. We can't say thank you enough. Kevin and I are just here to try to help you any way we can and try to give you good information that you can apply when next time you go to Toledo Bend or Sam Rayburn or any other lake in this region. So, and we're going to probably do a little more. We'll probably cover a little bit on Lake of the Pines the next time when they start. With the BFL coming up over there. We'll talk about that a little bit more as well. All right. That's all I've got. Again, we appreciate each and every one of you. Thank you for tuning us in. We'll see you next week with more Tackle Talk Live.